Age of Ultron. He was around for less than a week. Avengers less than a week of Ultron? Doesn't really sound marketable enough. Avengers Age of Ultron. Avengers Age of Ultron is the 11th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Came out in 2015. Written and directed by Joss Whedon. Starring Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, Jeremy Renner, James Spader, Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany. Amazing cast. The plot of this film is Tony Stark and Bruce Banner create an artificial intelligence robot called Ultron. However, things go wrong when Ultron has different ideas for protecting the world. So the Avengers must assemble to stop Ultron before he destroys the world. Back when this movie was coming out in 2015, I was so incredibly excited for Avengers Age of Ultron because I loved the first movie and loving what Marvel Cinematic Universe did. Captain America the Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy. Couldn't be any more excited for Avengers Age of Ultron. And when I saw the movie in 2015, I remember just loving it. I remember saying it was my favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe film. I remember saying it was better than the first movie. But then I watched the film again and again, and repeated viewing, started to discover more flaws, and yeah. This is a very flawed movie. It is, but I still consider Avengers Age of Ultron a very fun movie. It's funny, exciting, and entertaining. This is a very enjoyable movie. However, not quite as good as the first movie, sadly. But I still like it. What works about this movie are the performances. Everyone in the cast doing top notch. They're clearly having fun with what they're given. Don't just watch these movies for the amazing action, but the cast, these characters, how fleshed out they are, the banter, their arguments, it's all fantastic. Robert Downey Jr. is terrific as Iron Man, Mark Ruffalo is terrific as the Hulk, Chris Hemsworth is great as Thor, Chris Evans is great as Captain America, Scarlett Johansson is really good. Even the new additions in this film, like Elizabeth Olsen does a good job as Scarlet Witch, Paul Bettany is really good as Vision. I thought Vision was really cool, and he easily has the funniest scene in the movie involving Thor's hammer, and if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. That scene was hilarious. But out of everyone in this movie, my favorite character in this movie was actually Hawkeye. And I'm really glad that both Jeremy Renner and Joss Whedon both taken a chance to give Hawkeye more character development in this movie, giving him more to do, more personality, and I love that. One of the complaints with the first Avengers movie is that we really didn't know Hawkeye that much. He was just a cool guy with an arrow, but here he gets a lot more to do other than just being the cool guy with an arrow. I thought Jeremy Renner did a great job as Hawkeye in this movie. Funny, likable, great in the action scenes. Love Jeremy Renner in this movie. Hawkeye is awesome. Another thing that works about this movie is still the banter, the interactions with the characters, the arguments they have. It's all great, making these characters feel like real life people instead of these incredible superheroes, making us care for these characters and wanting to root for them in the action scenes. And this is a very funny movie. There are many great moments of dialogue. It's just hilarious, very funny movie, just like the first. And the action scenes in this movie are terrific, especially two standout action scenes in this movie. One, the opening action scenes, the Avengers assemble to infiltrate this Hydra base. It's awesome. Just, it's funny and exciting, and especially with this running joke whenever one of the Avengers said a bad word, Cap would say, "Language." Love that. And also my favorite action scene in this movie, the Hulkbuster fight scene between Iron Man and the Hulk. It's fantastic. Especially love this one moment where Hulkbuster is repeatedly punching the Hulk and Iron Man saying, "Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep." Oh, that was awesome. Also some great visual effects too. And one more thing, I didn't mind the Hulk and Black Widow romance in this movie. I thought both Mark Ruffalo and Scarlett Johansson had some nice chemistry, and I like how Bruce Banner, whenever he becomes the Hulk, like Black Widow is the source that needs to calm him down, because shouldn't the guy have some happiness in his life? the guy gets transformed into a huge green monster whenever he gets angry. That would suck. That would be depressing. I didn't mind the romance. I like the romance. However, I do have some flaws with this movie. I will get to those right now. First, I was a little disappointed with Ultron, villain of this movie. I thought he was a disappointing villain. They could have had this opportunity to make him a cold, dark, evil, menacing, just threatening villain like a Terminator, since they're both robots. Oh, this could be an opportunity, maybe be just as good as Loki, or maybe better than Loki, but Ultron is just this sly, smug, sarcastic robot, which kind of disappointed me since I barely felt like Ultron was menacing. He was just, I barely laughed at his jokes. I was more confused. It was like, shouldn't Ultron be a little more menacing? Not only that, he felt rushed. Like, whenever he gets transformed, gets new upgrade. There were some parts of his setup as a villain and his plan that did feel a little rushed. Also, Quicksilver, meh. It's just, meh character. Although the Quicksilver from X-Men Days of Future Past had less screen time, he was much better than the Quicksilver in this movie because he had much more personality, much more charisma than in that movie. Quicksilver in this movie is just a really fast guy with a really bad Russian accent, and yeah. Aaron Taylor Johnson was doing fine in the role, but Quicksilver, man. And my biggest problem with this movie, it can feel a little all over the place at times, being like set up other movies, like arguments between Tony Stark and Steve Rogers setting up Civil War, and then there's the setup with Thor Ragnarok where Thor goes into the pool that just felt a little pointless. Could cut that scene out and honestly not really change much. The plot wouldn't really have that much of an impact. And also setting up like the Infinity Stones and explaining them. And yeah, this movie can feel a little all over the place considering there's a lot of characters in this movie, and yeah, the plot of this movie can feel a little all over the place at times. Besides those problems, I still enjoy Avengers Age of Ultron years later. It's not as good as the first movie, but it's still funny. It still has great action, great banter, great interactions, great performances. I still enjoy Avengers Age of Ultron. It's a very enjoyable sequel, but not as good as the first movie, and so I'm going to give Avengers Age of Ultron 4 stars out of 5. I don't think it's as good as the first movie, but I still consider it an enjoyable superhero movie and an enjoyable film overall, so if you haven't rewatched it in a while, go rewatch it. It's a good movie, but nowhere near as good as the first movie. And now, the next review in the Marvel Cinematic Universe movie reviews leading up to Infinity War is Ant-Man. That's the next review. So what do you guys think of Avengers Age of Ultron? Do you agree? Disagree with me? Let me know below. Make sure to like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. It really means a lot. I'm Jack Benner, and look forward to another movie review. I thought Jeremy, yeah. I thought Jeremy, yeah. I thought Jeremy, yeah. I thought Jeremy, I saw Jeremy,